Are Black American women undesirable and no longer valued on the dating market? Hey, Jason here. If you've been watching the channel, you've been seeing me as I'm going through Africa. And in today's video, I'm going to open up a little bit behind my personal life and share with you some of the things I've learned, not only from having a 10-year marriage, but also as I have been traveling the world, especially these last 2 years after being married. So let's go ahead and dig into today's topic. Are Black American women undesirable? Now, the reason why I'm asking this question is I'm seeing this a lot on social media, especially when it comes to YouTube. You're seeing all of these videos about these so called dating experts, these high value men, and they're trying to always tell Black men why they should get a passport and why Black American women are just not desirable. And they use a couple of trigger words, and I'm going to break those words down in this video. And so before I start going into that, let me just give you my story and why I wanted to share my opinion on this. As I said in the introduction, I was married for 10 years. I was married up until 2022 when my wife passed away in January in my arms in Medellin, Colombia, where we were living. The medical doctor said she passed away of a heart attack. And that was a very, very tragic event for me. However, after that, now that I had the time to get over that over these 2 years, I loved every freaking moment about being married to my wife, Cece. If you're someone who's been following us as we took our journey, decided to leave the United States, when we started going into digital marketing, doing our network marketing businesses, you may have saw that we enjoyed spending time together. And that's why this is funny to me when I hear these dating people or these passport bros also, when they're like, oh, Black women ain't nothing, Black women just want money, Black women just want this. It's not true. And this generalization of a whole set of people and Black women in general based off a small subgroup of women that they're coming in contact with is just wrong. Let's be very clear about that. If you watch maybe what's that show, the Fresh and Fit podcast, look at the type of women they're talking about. Now, I'm not saying they're bad women, but I'm saying look at the women that they're talking to. They're talking to women who have OnlyFans, they're influencers, they're more into the club lifestyle, things like that. And this is just being honest with you. You're not going to find stability in that. And this goes for a man or a woman. If you're into someone who's out there in the fast life, they're drinking, they're clubbing every night, they're hanging around these rich people doing this, that lifestyle is not for a happy, healthy marriage or relationship. That's just common sense right there. And one of the things that these people are not telling you all when they're talking about and giving all of this crazy dating advice, you need to be stoic, you need to be this. They're not telling you that if you want a healthy, happy relationship, you have to go find someone who's in a healthy, happy place. You're not going to usually find them at the end of a bottle, point blank. One of the things that I loved about my relationship, my wife and I, we didn't hardly drink. The only times we would really drink was when we went on a cruise and we would share the drink of the day. And we literally just got those drinks so we could have a little commemorative cup to take home with us at the end of the cruise. That's the only time we really drank. We did not drink much at all. And we kept alcohol in our house. And it was mainly just if we were entertaining someone or a company came over. And so one of the things that I keep hearing over and over again as I hear these people giving this crazy uh, stereotypes about Black American women, judgments, and also advice to the guys out there is you need to go overseas and find a submissive woman. This is the dumbest advice out there. I'm just going to tell you right now. I'm going to break down what that really means because you can't just use a word without defining it. This is where a lot of people are making mistakes in life. You can't just throw words out there and think that the definition you were told is what that definition means right now, right here in your life. It is 2024. The word submissive is not the word that it used to be. We're not living under the rule of thumb anymore. Let's be very clear. No woman want to live like that. And no self-respecting man wants to live like that and treat a woman like that. So one of the things I did, and like I said, if you've been watching my channel, you may know how I roll. And so you know one of the things that I'm really big on is defining and redefining words. And so first word I looked up was submission. Now I'm giving you the Webster's Dictionary version. This isn't my version. It says there's two definitions for submission. Submission, the action of accepting or yielding to a superior force or to the will or authority of another person. Now, here's the thing with this is wrong. This is a very abusive definition right here. If someone is forcing you to submit under their will, that's abuse. Let's be very clear. That is abuse. And the reason why I say that is both in a relationship, a healthy relationship, not only is the woman, the man also must submit. Both must be submissive to the marriage, to the relationship. That is what you're actually submitting to. You're submitting to the relationship. Both of you are willing to give away parts of yourself that are no longer needed, that is not supportive of the relationship. There's things you may do as a single man or woman that does not need to be done in a healthy relationship. So that's the submission. You're actually yielding parts of yourself to the betterment of the relationship. Now, the second part over here says the action of presenting a proposal, application, or other document for consideration or judgment. Now, this is talking about more of a legal term right here, dealing with like paperwork, things like that. However, this definition of submission right here is a really great form of what you two must do within a relationship. First off, you both must present a proposal of how do you want your relationship to look like? Just because you say, oh, I love you, that doesn't create a loving relationship. Love is an irrational emotion. Love has nothing to do with a relationship or marriage. How many people are in love and they hate their spouses? They hate their partners. They wake up each and every day and just miserable when they see them. But they love each other. And they'll tell you, oh, I love you. That doesn't mean anything. The problem there is they have not created a proposal of how they want the relationship to look like. And because they have not created that proposal, it was never taken into consideration by either party on what they want to do to better the relationship. So that's what it means to be when we use the word submission. That's what people should be looking at. What is the proposal of how the relationship look for you two as an individual and coming together as a partner? What does that look like? And then each individual in that relationship has to come to consideration, and they have to agree upon that. One of the things Cece and I used to do, we used to have family meetings every Sunday. And what we would do, we would go and say, hey, these are the things that we're liking, these are the things that are going good. Maybe these little things could tweak. And we both would come to the table on things that could improve. What are the things that we want to improve on? And how do we want to improve as individuals? Because we were doing this, we were putting the relationship first. We both were willing to submit to the marriage, and it created a space for the marriage. We still had our separate lives. We still had, I'm Jason, she's Cece. We done the things that we like. Like I used to watch my anime. She was watching her Grey's Anatomy. We would read our separate books. We would do our separate times of personal development. However, we also had books we read together. We had dedicated date days. We also had books for the marriage, that we would read together. And we had professional development for the marriage together, things we did together as a couple. And some of those were professional development events, some were online seminars, and then some were just different work things that we worked on together. One of those, if you used to watch I think we used to put it on our TikTok that we had together, we used to play the cash flow game from Robert Kiyosaki. And we used to play that every morning. We would get up at 6 in the morning, play that game, get out of the rat race, talk about our visions, talk about the jobs that we want to create, talk about the things that we want to do in our life. And that was one of the things that we were doing. We were being submissive to the actual marriage. And now that I use that word submissive, Let's define that. Let's look at that. Because so many people say, I want a woman that's submissive. She needs to submit to me. And what does that mean? Because you may be surprised. So here's the Oxford Dictionary version. It says, ready to conform to the authority or will of others, meekly, obedient, or passive, a submissive, almost sheep-like people. Who wants that as their woman? Like, take the time now. Do you want a woman who is sheep-like? Is that how you want to describe your wife? Is that how you want to describe the mother of your children? Sheep-like? Let's be honest here. No. No one wants that type of woman. No one wants someone to be sheep-like. You want a woman that is strong, independent, someone that's going to push you, someone that's going to drive you. And the only way she can do that is by if you and her come together and are willing to submit to the relationship. And this is where a lot of these people online are talking a bunch of nonsense. There are people who don't have relationships, they've never been married, and they're usually just messing with people that are paid for play or using whatever little clout or fame they have to get women. Most of them are probably nerds that couldn't get women back when they were younger. And now with this social media era, oh, I'm the big dog, beating their hands on the chest, listening to all of this top G Andrew Tate stuff, but they're not paying attention to what he's really saying about develop yourself as a man, get yourself focused as a man, obtain your goals as a man, meaning submit to being a man. So that's the funny thing about this. Most of these guys who are out here e-begging on social media, hey guys, I need a trip to go here, I need money to go here. And they're not even willing to submit to becoming a better man. But they will expect a woman, she needs to cook and clean. If you have enough money, you can pay for someone to cook and clean for you any day of the week. Like, really think about that. And so, what I really want you to focus on is submission. Submission is the word that you should focus on if you want a healthy and happy relationship. And to be submissive in your relationship is not a woman's job, it's both parties' job. The man must submit too. You both are submitting to the betterment of your relationship. Your relationship is higher than you as an individual. And that is how a happy and healthy relationship is actually brought about. You can go get married all you want. You can go sign as many paperwork from the Justice of the Peace. You can go spend hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars on a wedding. It's not going to make it a healthy marriage. In fact, most of those marriages end up in divorce in less than 5 years. We spent about $50 total on our marriage certificate, and I think we spent another $200 on. We went to a nice, fancy, I think it was a 5-course dinner, and then we went to the Cheesecake Factory and had dessert. So we spent probably a total of $250 on our wedding, and we were married for 10 years. And we were together up until the day to when she passed away in my arms. And we enjoyed every single moment of it. So don't think it takes money to build a happy and healthy relationship. It takes two individuals coming together and they're submitting. And remember, to submit, you first must create a proposal. What does a healthy, happy relationship look for you as individuals? And then after that, you both you consider what's been said, and then you come to an agreement. It's just a 3-step process. Now, these 3 steps sound maybe over simple, but really ask yourself, how many times have you came to the table and had this conversation in your previous relationships? Did you tell them what you're looking for out of a relationship? Not out of a man, not out of a woman, out of a relationship. How do you want your relationship to look? And did you take into consideration how that other person wants their relationship to look? Because here's where most people mess up with consideration. You can't just say, oh, well, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. Your stuff don't matter. That's not consideration. We're going back to this abusive definition of submissive. You're forcing your will on someone. Everyone must come to agreement on it. And then after you both went into consideration, did you actually agree and do the 4th thing, implement? Did you actually implement what you said you wanted from the relationship and what you agreed to? That is what it actually takes to have a happy and healthy relationship. And so I hope that helped you out. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to do more videos about this because I feel like when I was in the midst of my marriage, I was so focused on just my marriage that I didn't want to talk about it. I'm going to be honest with you. But now that I'm single again, I'm never going to get married again. It's for a personal reason. It has nothing to do with anything else except it's just my personal choice to not get married again. Um, I'm going to start just opening the doors and letting some of this stuff out, explaining what were some of the things that Cece and I were doing, what were the activities, how did we approach things? Because we both, now from my end, coming from a single family household, I didn't know what a healthy marriage looked like. I didn't even know it was possible. I didn't know anybody with a healthy, happy relationship. I just saw dysfunction growing up. And she saw things in her family that some were good, some were bad. And so we came together and we both said, like, look, we don't want to mirror what our family has shown us. We want to create something great on our own. And that's how we started getting into this. And that's how we started opening up communication, which is one of the things that I think that really helped us more than anything. We were always able to come to the table and talk to each other. We had safe words in the relationship, meaning if there was something that seriously needed to be talked about without anybody just, putting it down or shutting it down, we had certain safe words in place that we would speak and say to each other when we're bringing up certain topics. And those things helped out a lot. Plus having family meetings every Sunday. And from that, it created our date days, which was amazing. Even when we were in the midst of lockdown in Colombia, we still made our date days. One of the things we were doing every Wednesday, we would have some kind of ethnic cuisine. So I would go out, get different food. We would have like ramen night, Japanese night. We had sushi nights, Indian nights. We had West Caribbean nights where we would make rotis, doubles, and all of these things. And so I just really wanted to help that with you, help share that with you because there's so much misinformation out here. There's so many people beating on their chest like they know what it takes to make a healthy relationship, yet they've never had a healthy relationship and they can't even show you one right now. And so I just wanted to share that from you, share that to you from my perspective of being married for 10 years, having a happy, loving marriage. And I hope you really got some value from that. And just remember this: success is simple once you know how.